Germany has always been reliant on Russia for the majority of its gas, and now in preparation for the upcoming winter when it anticipates that Russia, which has recently decreased exports, may restrict or even stop supply, Germany has unveiled its most recent efforts to increase gas storage levels and its plans for a new gas factory. How would this be possible, and how will it affect the dynamics of the relationship between Germany and Russia? The German economy is one of the world's largest and most developed, with a nominal GDP position of 4th in the world. As of 2020, Germany is ranked 7th in the world in terms of primary energy consumption. Over 75% of German primary energy consumption in 2021 came from fossil fuels. 6.2% came from nuclear power and 16.1% came in the form of renewables. Energy consumption in Germany ranks 6th in the world and is Europe's largest electrical market. The nation is the world's 5th largest oil consumer. In 2018, 34.3% of all energy was consumed through the use of oil, while 23.7% of Germany's energy was consumed through the use of gas. Almost all of Germany's oil needs are met by imports. As of 2021, Russia was responsible for 34.1% of crude oil imports, followed by the United States with 12.5%, Kazakhstan with 9.8%, and Norway with 9.6%. Natural gas, which accounted for more than a quarter of Germany's primary energy consumption in 2021, is also the energy source that Germany imports the most. 95% of natural gas used in Germany is imported, with about 50% being exported again. Russian gas accounts for 55% of imports, followed by Norwegian gas at 30% and Dutch gas at 13%. Since Germany lacks LNG terminals as of 2022, all gas imports occur through pipelines. As a result of Canadian sanctions that left Siemens Energy-maintained pumping equipment stranded in Montreal, Russia's state-controlled gas exporter Gazprom has recently curtailed delivery levels through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline that flows over the Baltic Sea to Germany. The allegations of Gazprom have been dismissed by Germany and its allies in Europe, who contend that any technical difficulty is a cover for Moscow's retribution against EU sanctions. As a result, Gazprom has not turned to other pipelines to make up for the NS1 supply gap. In response to the new supply reductions, European gas prices rose even higher last week. A cost of living problem is spreading across Europe due to rising energy prices, which central banks are unable to handle without risking the region's economy falling into recession. The most vulnerable industry to the gas distribution reduction, represented by the German Chemicals Industry Association (VCI), claimed that the supply shortages had not yet resulted in serious issues. The actions taken on Sunday come in the wake of a plan unveiled earlier this year to support Germany's energy sector and economy with aid payments as it deals with the Ukraine crisis, which has driven up power prices. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz called the country's dependence on Russian energy a mistake of Germany's economic policy and told Newswire DPA that past administrations had missed the opportunity to establish alternate gas supply channels. But following the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Germany has had enough. As Russian limits to gas exports imperil Europe's largest economy, Germany has chosen to drastically boost its usage of extremely polluting coal in order to safeguard energy supplies ahead of the winter. In order to encourage businesses to reduce usage, the German government announced on Sunday that it would implement emergency rules that would allow coal-fired power plants that have been shut down to generate electricity to be restarted. Berlin's fear of a gas shortage in the winter was evident in this decision. As Western officials became convinced that Moscow is weaponizing its gas exports in reaction to EU sanctions following the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Moscow reduced the capacity of the main gas export pipeline to Germany by 60% this week, sending shockwaves across the continent. In the next days, if supplies are not restored, Italy, which has also experienced a decline in Russian gas supplies, is anticipated to announce emergency measures. Meanwhile, coal was the country's primary source of electricity in the first half of 2021. Lignite is mined largely in Nord Rhine-Westphalia, Saxony, and Brandenburg in the far west and east of the country. Due to the fact that significant volumes are burned in coal plants close to mining locations to generate energy, and that it's not practical to transport lignite over great distances, the plants are situated close to the extraction sites. Saarland and Nord Rhine-Westphalia both have bituminous coal mines, The majority of bituminous coal-burning power plants rely on imported fuel, therefore they are dispersed across the nation in addition to being close to the mining areas. Germany is making changes to its coal-fired power facilities to make them more flexible in the face of the rising demand for renewable energy. German power plants already in operation are made to be flexible. German coal-fired power stations and natural gas combined cycle plants both achieve load following. There is the possibility to limit the capacity of new coal-fired power plants to as low as 20 to 25%. The reason is that unlike a gas combined cycle power plant, a coal boiler uses direct fuel combustion to control output rather than a heat recovery steam generator with an upstream gas turbine. On the other hand, a new law currently being developed in Berlin would bring back 10 gigawatts of idle coal-fired power plants for up to 2 years, increasing Germany's reliance on coal for electricity generation by up to a third. However, the proposal, which intends to phase out coal by 2030 since it is significantly more carbon-intensive than gas, is at odds with Germany's climate strategy. Because of the Russian president's war of aggression against Ukraine, the tense situation and high prices are inevitable, according to Habeck, a Green Party member who has campaigned for a quicker exit from carbon-intensive coal. He continued saying, "What's more, it is obviously Putin's strategy to make us insecure, to drive up prices and to divide us. We will not let that happen. We will fight back decisively, precisely and thoughtfully." The Economy Ministry said bringing back coal-fired power plants into the mix could add up to 10 gigawatts of capacity in case of a critical gas supply situation, and adding a corresponding law would go to the upper house of Parliament on July 8th. "That is painful, but it is a sheer necessity in this situation to reduce gas consumption," said Habeck. "But if we don't do it, then we run the risk that the storage facilities will not be full enough at the end of the year towards the winter season, and then we are blackmailable on a political level." When asked about the need of storing gas, Habeck responded that it was the top priority and that it would be a tremendous squeeze in the winter without sufficient supplies. The 3 surviving nuclear power reactors in Germany have a combined capacity of 4 gigawatts and are slated to shut down by the end of this year. The government has determined that the technological and safety requirements are too great, so their lifespan won't be increased. Germany aims to reduce normal consumption by about a fifth without resorting to rationing, while increasing Norwegian pipeline supplies and LNG imports. Increased reliance on coal-fired power plants would be one of the new policies, and an auction system to encourage industry to reduce consumption would also begin in the upcoming weeks. Additionally, through the state lender KfW, Germany's gas market operator will receive 15 billion euros, $15.8 billion in credit lines to fill gas storage facilities more quickly. According to Habeck, the ministry, which is in charge of ensuring the security of the energy supply in the largest economy in Europe, would take additional precautions depending on the situation. Under the condition of anonymity, 2 sources with knowledge of the situation said it might involve starting the second phase of Germany's gas emergency plan. It would be possible for utilities to pass on high gas prices to their customers in the second phase, which begins when there is a high risk of long-term supply shortages. Germany has prioritized filling gas storage tanks that can be used in the winter and plan to erect 4 floating LNG terminals. They are currently 56% full, and Economy Minister Robert Habeck wants them to be 90% full by the end of the year. Agora Energiewende, a think tank, has recommended the construction of a number of tiny units throughout the country. Even if more nuclear power plants are shut down by December 2022, grid operators and other experts believe that existing reserves and planned European interconnections will provide enough gas capacity to meet demand. Germany may require more gas power capacity as it ramps up renewables and phases out coal and nuclear power. This additional gas power capacity would primarily be used during periods of high electricity demand and little wind or sunlight, and would not necessarily result in increased overall gas consumption. Let us know what you think of this situation in the comments section below.